Welcome to GNM, which is another segment or part of Politica Records. We're expanding this year. We've been wanting to do this for a couple years, but we're finally diving into it. It's a process where we're going to be interviewing prominent figures in the community, artists, athletes, politicians, hopefully, anybody who's anybody, and we want to get to the bottom of what's going on in their lives and how this is how we can contribute more to the music. So my first guest is my brother Jeffery Padilla. Brother, how are you?
How you doing, Juan?
I'm good.
How you all doing?
Okay, for the people that have been living under a rock, let the people know who you are, brother. Who you are, where you're from, everything.
My name's Jeffery Padilla. I'm from Los Padillas, New Mexico. It's a suburb of Albuquerque, same as Albuquerque, and just doing my thing.
Okay, and your family, Mr. Padilla, your father?
Yeah, my father's
great man.
Yeah, thank you.
Great
thank
man.
you, Juan. So are you.
Great man.
My father's Jeffery Padilla, pillar in the community. Been through the struggle, had his ups and downs in the 70s, strained out his life, and became known all over New Mexico and respected by all the way from the people in the streets to governors.
That's beautiful. As a little dude, where'd you go to school, bro? Like elementary, middle school, high school?
Yeah, well, we were raised on welfare, you know. Some people would say we were raised. Yeah.
Yo también.
Some people may think we were raised with a silver spoon, but no, it wasn't like that at all. We were raised always on welfare as kids. My dad was in and out of prison, so we were always moving around. Started at Los Padillas and ended up a lot of elementaries throughout the city, middle schools.
See, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
All right, I didn't even know that.
Yep, it's been a struggle, so part of the struggle, baby.
But you're here.
Yep.
You're here. Okay. And as a little guy, how was it growing up with the big family? Because you're the middle child, right? I think second or third.
Yeah, I'm in the middle. I'm the middle child. My sister Geraldine's the oldest, and Jerry Jr., myself, Johnny Lee, who passed, my brother,
God bless him.
And James.
How was it being the middle guy? Was it rough? Did you have your sister and your brother pick on you, or were you more the mediator because you were in the middle?
I was always in a position of having to step it up and keep up, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my brother would take me places, so I seen a lot growing up, and they dragged me along just because I was had no choice but to be there. I'd be left alone at home.
Oh, so you had to prove yourself to your older brothers, and
oh yeah, that's the way it went.
How was your sister with you? She a good sister, or did she put it on you when you were malcriado?
Oh, she's okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
She's rough.
So you took butt whoopings just like I did then. Luckily, I was the oldest though, so I can't imagine being in the middle.
Yep. I was straightened out by my mother mainly, so I learned to always try to do the best I can to keep up or be good.
Okay, and you're still doing it.
Still
doing it.
Mom's still letting me know.
Oh yeah, and she's a great woman also. Her and Bobby, they're good people. I know that. I try to keep in touch with them as much as I can, but without bothering them or getting, I don't want to be on the phone all the time bothering them. I just checking up on them. They're great people.
Thank you, Juan.
And what were your aspirations as a little dude? Like what were your aspirations? What did you want to be when you grew up, bro? Me, I wanted to be a basketball player. But I couldn't. I played ball, but I just wasn't good enough for the big guys,
Well, growing up, I knew I wanted to be somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And I always tried to figure it out and try to carry myself so I could be accepted. So I didn't have a clear vision, but I wanted to be somebody and try to be a humble person and try to understand what was going on around me so I could figure out how to get there.
Exactly. Did you want to be anything like some people want to be a doctor, a lawyer, or I wanted to be a basketball player? Is there anything that you saw that you wanted? That you really strived for, like when you were little and you're like, man, I want to be a firefighter or something like that?
Well, I wanted to be like my big brother.
Mm-hmm.
So I always carried myself watching everything he did and trying to do it by mind the rules that he set and do it my way. Yep.
So would you call him like your father? Of course, is probably your hero, your idol, or something. Did you idolize your brother too?
Of course, I looked to both of them and found so much greatness in both of them, and I wanted to be just like them. You know, my dad in his business senses, and my brother in his savvy.
Oh yeah, he's a great man too. What was your first introduction into music, and how did you start in the early days with music that made you want to get into music? Like, did you like oldies, rancheras, New Mexico music? What made you want to get into music? Oh, because in the 90s you were already doing music. You had people working on music. You had studios. What made you want to get into music?
I took a liking to music because I knew that I could try to make it work. Back in the days, there wasn't Google, so you just get a CD cover, turn it around, and find the number on there and make calls. So one of the great things of the 90s is when Biggie Small had passed away, I called Bad Boy Records, and by the time you know it, I was talking to P. Diddy on accident. You know, we made them an offer to bring when they came, and at the end of the day, when they came to concert in Albuquerque, and at the end of the day, we did their after party.
Oh wow!
Yeah, Southwest Entertainment. P. Diddy stood on stage and said, "Make sure to come to the after party at the spot."
So that was your first
interaction with music. Yes.
Okay, but it was Southwest Entertainment.
Yes.
Did you have anything else besides Southwest Entertainment, like, or was it always that?
Yeah, we had like 30 guys just in and out of the studio and recording, but it was too early in the game, you know.
Oh yeah. So it's different now.
Yeah. So then I took a shot at it again. I used to dream of getting involved, and I had some money, and I was incarcerated, and that's when we started Politica Records.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Yes, sir. And we're still here.
Oh yeah.
And we're expanding.
Yep.
And that's one thing about us, man. We're not gonna keep nobody down. We've always tried to help others, be there for others. We won't put up with nothing, but we always help someone else out.
Thank you.
Especially if they need it.
Yeah, you kept this dream going, and you kept us hot, kept people staring at us, and I thank you.
Oh well, there was times I wasn't inspired, bro. I was at home like, man, this sucks. It's not gonna work. It's nothing. And then you'd call, and you'd have all this energy, and man, we gotta do this. We can do this. We can do that. And they would inspire me. And I'm thinking, man, I got it bad out here. Then I would think about the positions that you were in and how you were so motivated. And you're like, man, when I get out, it's gonna be on. We're gonna be good. But you inspired me to keep going. And it's like, man, what the hell am I complaining about? You know what I mean?
Well, let's set the stage one. Let's talk about that then.
Okay.
I remember my whole life crashing. You know, my lawyer says, "Hey, Jeff, you better figure out a better way of life." And I said, "Well, I want to reinvent myself." So I got my money together, and I got a vision. And the good thing that was going on at the time was Kid Frost was coming through Albuquerque, New Mexico, and working with our people. And he made a song. Johnny Lee, my brother Johnny, got involved with SPM's people, and they put together a song, Close My Eyes, and they watched it on the news, and they knew what I was going through, and they put out the song Close My Eyes. And behind that, I was introduced to you, and that's where it all began.
And then somehow I ended up on the song too.
Well,
which was a blessing.
That was a blessing, because when I heard the song, I was like wondering what type of, I was listening, you know, they told me who you were, and I was like, well, I hope he sounds good.
Yeah.
So when I heard the song, I was impressed, and I'm glad that it was you that was chosen to stand alongside with the Padilla family. I thank you.
I was nervous, and I thank you for believing in me, but it was kind of nerve-wracking. I didn't know if it was good enough, and I didn't know if I took it in the right direction, that it would be okay. Well, you'd be like, okay, I like it. So when you did it, and you said, okay, we're good, then they're not okay. It's accepted. Then we're good. And I think that was our first bonding, right? That song was the first time we bonded when it came to music. Yeah,
well, we were involved in a company that couldn't all the way focus just on what we were after. So
Yeah.
me and you built our ties, and we started our own company. So,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you got to hand it to them for putting us together
Mhm.
and taking us as far as they did. But there came a time where if we did it our way, we wouldn't be in the position
Yeah, we
we're at.
wouldn't. Yeah, we wouldn't have been able to push forward.
Oh, yeah.
Our things would have, everything would have got lost in the mix somewhere because there was too many people into a situation. And this way, if me and you had our own thing, we controlled it, and
yeah.
it was better that way. So yeah, man, that was a beautiful thing.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you. Who were some of the first artists and producers that you ever worked with here in Albuquerque in the music scene? Who stood out to you, and who did you actually work with? Producers, singers, rappers in the 90s when you started your endeavor in music.
Well, I had Exhibit. Somebody I had some money, so Exhibit was waiting. He had just got his money and ran through it. So some people, his friends, presented to me to see if I wanted to drop an album with him. So I've had that offer. I didn't take it up because I don't think we're ready. New Mexico wasn't ready as a producer to on the.
Is this one he already had album in California?
No, not yet. No, this was right on the time. He had just dropped his first album, and he had just went through what he was going through with his record label, right?
Yeah.
It took him so far. And since then, I worked with Adam Brown, which
AB.
AB, Too Sweet, which is they're big in Canada right now. A lot of producers we were working with.
Did you work with Coolie D back then?
Yeah, Coolie D's my first thought. Yeah, Coolie D's my buddy, and he has this nice sound, a desert
Desert
sound.
Funk Mob, right?
Yeah,
that was
he has
the
a
crew.
desert sound, and it keeps it.
Empty Pockets, did you ever work with them at all?
My people, Mark, as you know.
Yeah. Mark Willer, rest in peace, Mark. We love you.
Yeah, Mark.
We miss you.
Mark is the one that put him on, and in reality that's who introduced me to the music game was Mark Willer. He passed away. He was my mentor.
Yeah.
And it's sad to say, but since then I had to find a way to I don't have nobody in mind. I have to use my own brain now for turning to God.
We have
turning to God for the answers.
We have to cope within ourselves now.
Yeah.
Cause you know what I tell the old lady too, man. I miss his text messages every day where they were prayers and they were long, and I took the time to read those scriptures, and I always felt better after I read them. It always gave me hope.
Oh yeah.
No matter what I was going through. Is he the one that introduced you to David Wade?
Yep, as well, of course, David Wade was the first person in Albuquerque to really be known throughout the Southwest region.
Absolutely.
Yeah, David Wade took it to a whole new level. Sad part was I was gone at the time. I was on a vacation.
Yeah.
I was on a long vacation, as you know.
What do you think is keeping the music scene out here from evolving into other levels of the industry? Like, because we have no radio play, no support, basically it's us on our own. What do you think is keeping us from reaching a higher plateau, the next level? What we always talk about is the next level.
Well, I believe that the music industry in New Mexico has it's a chance to shine a little brighter. You know, as you know, we have the documentary.
Absolutely.
And so we have the world stage.
Yes.
So that's what it's going to take. It's going to take our documentary to put us out there, because when people see your music, Juan, they're going to come to us. They're going to see how great you are. Oh,
I pray.
God's already blessing us.
And that's another thing I wanted to ask you too. Like you said, you were doing another thing for Discovery. Was it Discovery Channel? Discovery.
America, yeah, international,
okay.
yes.
And it was worldwide. And during the production of that, you met Jennifer Ducker, right?
Yes.
So, and how did you? I don't know. When you first told me, I said, "Yeah, how you gonna pull this off?" And you said, "I talked to this woman. She's British, but I'm gonna do my own documentary." How did you pull that off? How were you able to do that?
Well, I was blessed to get a part in the documentary Los Burqueños.
Yes.
And it's called the Gangster Code.
Yes.
It's about keeping your mouth shut. People keep their mouths shut in New
Absolutely.
Mexico. So that's one great thing about New Mexico is people have their eyes on us for being solid people. We keep our mouths shut. You know, we're taught since kids to do our time, right? Can't do the crime. Can't do the time, don't do the crime, right?
Absolutely.
So I was willing to do an interview on that and let people know the struggle in New Mexico. So it put the eye on me with something to be able to submit. So I was incarcerated. You know, I did 15, 17 years, 15 straight, 20 years, I guess.
Yes.
And Jennifer was filming a documentary in there, and some of the guys were letting her know who I was, you know. Have some friends that were in the bros that are in there were like, hey, Jen, by the way. So she asked me to do an interview, and I said, no, I'm not going to do an interview because my story had already been introduced to 50 Cent, as well as the gentleman that did the...
Lou, his name was Lou, right?
Yeah.
Lou something. He was intrigued by you, man. You had him.
He said he was coming back one day to do a documentary with us, and now he don't even take our calls. Maybe he just felt like
after your documentary comes out, he's gonna be calling you and blowing you up again.
Yeah. Well, he don't take our calls because maybe he's
whatever's going on in his life. But what did your documentary consist of? Like, I remember going with you. I remember going with your dad and David Wade and the crew, which was Jennifer and
Tommy. Yes, Jennifer Ducker. So Jennifer Googled my name, and like I say, you could ask about me, you could Google me. So you'll still get the same thing, you know. Jennifer Googled and took a liking to our story because it's a new, unique story. You know,
absolutely.
It hasn't been told. There's a story, you know, it's about the struggle, the heartache, the pain, and a family.
Exactly.
Yeah, I come from a family the Padilla family's unique, you know. There's not one like it. You got 1,000 cousins or 500 cousins.
There's nothing like it.
Yeah.
And so we started from the day you were released, and ever since then, they filmed you evolving, right? Like it was called After Orange, the documentary. When you came, you had to adapt again into the society. But in other words, it was like people are expecting everybody to fail, but you proved them wrong. So I think that's the most beautiful thing about the documentary is that you win. You won because you said what you were going to do and you did it. And you proved everybody wrong. And that's why people admire you and you inspire the younger dudes who come out to do the same thing. What gives you that strength? Like, where did you pull that strength from?
Well, one, I thank you for the question, but I still to this day don't got it all figured out, you know. I thank God for every day that I'm out, and I thank God for giving me a vision and showing me when to step back and when not to step forward.
Exactly.
You know, I don't like violence. It is what it is. People do their thing, but I don't get off on seeing people hurting each other.
Exactly.
You know, so I come in peace first. You know, you put me in a corner, I become who I am. You know, I'm there to go to any distance, but at the same time, I don't like violence. So I don't put myself in positions to have to worry about that, first of all.
Exactly.
But it's in our nature, right?
Well, yeah. And when people see you out there and they meet you, is it all love? Is it all love? Do people come up to you and they, hey man, thank you, or we love what you're doing? Because it's inspiring. And the trailers that we've seen for the documentary, there's other youngsters that are in there, but they're trying to follow your lead, but I don't think they quite have it figured out yet the way you figured it out. Because you made your mind up and you said, this is it and this is what I'm going to do, and you're able to focus on it. But what do you think's keeping the other dudes that are coming out from falling back into the same system?
Thank you, Juan. Well, the reason why a lot of eyes are on me and I get the respect that I do is because when I got arrested in 1999, they arrested 30 guys. You know, they charged me with crimes that were all the way from maybe the death penalty. You know,
yeah.
So it was built by a case against me to make me have to suffer for the rest of my life, right? So all the old school G's, you know.
Yeah.
All the veteranos were watching and how I was going to carry myself. And at the end of the day, I sat back and I trusted in God that God was going to do it His way.
Exactly.
And that's what it took.
Mm-hmm.
So when people see that, people can respect a person that is humble and allows God to see what God's blessing is going to be at the end. So I think that's what all this stems from, Juan. And
your faith.
Yeah, I
Your
thank
faith.
God. I have that seed, that mustard seed faith, and I know that it's taken me a long ways.
I've seen it. I've seen the change. I believe in it. Well, I've been there firsthand. I've seen it. And your story is intriguing too, so much that, like you said, OGs. And New Mexico has this amazing writer and movie director, producer named Jimmy Santiago Baca. He was intrigued by your story. He was intrigued by our movement and the music, and he couldn't believe it. And I was more in awe of him knowing who you are, who I was, before we even got to talk to him and really meet him. And how was it like meeting someone like him who you had also admired, because I'm sure you read his stuff, but he also admired you for your courage and your charisma and your strength?
Yeah, it was, thank you, Juan. I didn't know that's how he felt. And I thank God I had all my life I wanted to meet Mr. Jimmy Santiago Baca and just to shake his hand.
Mm-hmm.
So in meeting Mr. Baca, I'm hoping one day to submit my story and that it becomes on the big screen.
Absolutely. Yeah. He's given me a lot of hope myself too. He just start writing your biography. Mm-hmm. Like I told you the other day, man, get to writing, brother. Get to writing, man. Start everything from as far as back as you can remember. No matter how, he told me, no matter how hurtful the thing is that you're talking about, talk about it. And if you have to go into detail, like there's stuff in my past where I've lost people, and it broke my heart. And when I'm writing about it, it's like I'm feeling the same shit again, the same emotions. I'm feeling it again. So I have to stop myself and then take a break, then come back, because some things in our past are real hurtful. But he says, write about it. He says, it's not easy for him to talk about the things that he went through, but he went through it, and look where he is now. He's in a position to help other people. I think your story is going to be a great story.
Well, I'm glad that he offered you that one, and it kept his eyes. I think your music, Politica Records, I think us putting together Politica Records, that represents the people, the struggle, the heartache, the pain, and trying to give hope. And I think that by me meeting you, it was God sent, and to bring Jimmy Santiago Baca to admire the work that you've done, to take a liking and tell your story, gives me hope, to also, just like for every reason, I stay focused because of setting the foundation that we built with Politica,
Well, Politica is the foundation to everything else we did, because as soon as we started the label, before the album even came out, you had a clothing line in mind, Good Guy Clothing. So when my album came out, we already had clothing to go on tour with and sell at shows together. Oh, how did you think of Good Guy? Like, when did you think about it?
Well, Good Guy comes from the penitentiary. Back in the days, the wardens used to keep their eyes on all the solid dudes from Burke and a lot of guys from New Mexico, and they were the guys that stood strong to defend a person that's willing to stand up for themselves.
Exactly.
So that was known as a good guy, right? So if the other guys are saying, hey, that's a good vato, then you get your respects. Then you have to still stand strong on your own, right?
Exactly.
So that's where we got the name Good Guy, and it's a part of the 80s and 90s in my view, and I let that one rest because it's a different era.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, we got bigger and nicer stuff in the world stage, so we're gonna keep doing what's modern and what's keeping up with the rest of everybody.
What I really liked about it is that you were putting actually artwork from some of the brothers that are in there on these t-shirts. And everywhere I'd go, I'd wear a different one. And man, that's nice artwork. And it would say the guy who did it. So I know it made a lot of people proud. I had a lot of people come up to me, I know that dude. I said, that's my cousin, that's my brother. So it must have felt real good for them to have their artwork all around the Southwest on t-shirts, sweatshirts,
Yeah, it gives people hope. You know, there's this artist in there and all these artists, and everybody's looking for hope. You know, they're like, hey, Jeff, buy this pattern or put it out, and we're able to make maybe 100 different patterns.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were pressing them up and
Oh,
selling.
it was hard.
Oh yeah, we were making.
It was
from
hard.
in there. I was making sure to make some money. You know, it kept,
Yeah.
it kept
Oh, yeah.
money in our pockets.
Well,
so
yeah,
we're doing good.
And then it kept, once you get to a certain point, like our first album was really successful, man. We had Baby Bash, David Wade, Juan Gotti, Rico Luna. Oh man, we had so many locals. Clica One. We had, man, Mike C. Mike C. He was just a brainchild. He's my mentor when it comes to music. Cooley D helped. That album was just.
Oh yeah.
It was raw, bro. It was just everything. I kept, everybody in my mind was, you need to make radio. You need to make radio.
Well,
radio.
Yeah. Well, you set the bar high, Juan, and because of that, I'll look at everybody else and tell them to try to keep up with us or work with us or keep doing your thing, because I believe that with music that great, it's hard to come up with something that sets you back 20 years, you know? And I'm not putting anybody down, but come on, let's try to keep up with the rest of everybody.
Exactly.
You know, if every other state's doing it, I'm sure that if we can create our own sound, it exists. You know, Juan, by God, we thank God that you're written into the book of, what's the name of the book?
Enchantment, New Mexico, or Enchanted or something?
Yep. There's a college course that's being taught about the history of New Mexico and decolonizing enchantment, and you're
Decolonizing enchantment.
Politica Records is written in the book. Yeah. So this is in two different college courses, one at UNM and one in Northridge, I believe, California, and these two different gentlemen. What are they? What is their?
To be honest, brother, I don't even remember their names.
Yeah, these
they were professors, but to hear it to a family member of one of my friends that I went to school with, his name is Luis Lucero, God bless his soul. I named my son after him and my stepfather. His dad, he's a deacon, and he called me, left me messages, but he didn't have my cell phone, so he was calling the old house number at my mom's. And said, Deacon Juan wants to call you. He says, hey, Juan, my primo wants to talk to you about a book. A book. So I called him, and he told me, he says, I love what this song says. Can you send me the lyrics? And that was it. Until later on, he told me, okay, it's published. And it freaked me out. And I think that's a big step for us.
Oh, yeah, for professors.
Yeah.
To take a liking and hear. Your name was being talked about throughout the state in the Southwest back in 2006, you know, and it was our album. Our album was making waves all over, you know, we're getting radio play. So they knew that you're the guy that they have to talk about. Politica Records is in the history of New Mexico, just like 89.1 artists like
New Mexico music.
Yeah, all of them.
Yeah. See, the thing was, whenever you told me, he says, just be free. And I said, okay, our label's gonna be for the people, by the people. So I've always said, like, okay, we're the people's champ, because we're stuck in between Texas and the Bay Area. Okay, so we can't help but be influenced by those two things. I think that's what New Mexico music is. We're influenced by both of them. And somehow in the middle, we have a different sound, a different style. Not everybody likes it. Some people, like even nowadays, a lot of people don't like my music, and people I've never met. You know, you see comments and people like, whatever, man. It's not gonna change my mood today. It's not gonna ruin my feelings towards the music that we made. So, you know, I guess that no matter what to do, you're gonna have the people that hate you and some people that love you, and then some people in the middle that are waiting to see what everybody else likes. So if somebody likes you, they might like you. But you're always gonna have those people in the background that don't believe you. And to be honest with you, man, I've had more strangers love me than people in my own family. People that are my blood cousins
were
horrible to it. They were just like, who does he think he is? Que crees, cabrón? You know? I'm like,
well, what it is that's just the competitions out there. So all in all, we're here to we'll make you a believer.
Exactly.
You know? So it's all good. We're going to keep on moving forward. We got a lot of great music to do, Juan, and we're going to keep on. I'm here to give you hope. Because,
and you do.
Yeah, we're here to make it, and we're making it.
Absolutely.
We're in the history of New Mexico. God's blessed us to put us, we've got that position. There's a lot of other artists that are up and coming.
Mhm.
There's a lot of other legends, it's just like you, Juan, that we will give the credit to.
Yes.
You know? So.
And we work with everybody.
Oh, yeah.
I've featured on songs with anybody that wants to work with me, that has love for us. And I've had people that I invite to be on our music that I have a lot of love for too. So it's always a, you know, give and go. You know, you never know who's gonna come up to you and really show you love. Like when we're on the streets and stuff, people come to, hey, you Gambino? Like, yeah. And in my mind, I'm like, I don't know who this is. I don't know what their intentions are. But I'm a cool dude, bro. I don't roll around with a lot of people. I just roll with my family, my kids, my lady. We can be at the movies just eating. Somebody recognizes me and, hey, man, how you doing? So I try to be humble and, you know, respectful to everybody. So the last impression that they take from me is that, well, that's a cool dude. That's a cool dude. And that's a reflection of my partner, too. Because when they see you, you show them love. And if I could also, if I observe that, I've seen you conduct yourself and you're humble, you're respectful, but people are like, damn, did you know what that did? You know what that is?
Yeah, I'm there to, I'm just like everybody else, man. You know that.
Yeah, but you're special, though. There's something about you that people are gravitated to. Like the first time I actually spoke to you, I was like, man, this motherfucker's serious. He really wants to do this. Why me? And all you had ever done is heard music through the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Through the phone. And I was like, is he serious? He's serious? Until we sat down face to face, and I was like, man, this man is serious. He's humble.
What it is, Juan, is I'm a visionist, right?
Mm-hmm.
And God gives me visions, and I chase them at the highest point. I used to ask God to give me a nice big diamond ring, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably, you know, it's pretty chunky, right? So I used to ask him,
Yeah.
I had this vision of having this big diamond ring, and I don't know how it worked out, but I ended up with that. And then I asked God to put me in a position to run into my friend that owns Paradise Village, Village, Mike Griego,
Yep.
and put him in a documentary with me smoking a cigar, right? And I got that. He called me on a Saturday morning, said, Jeff, I need to meet with you. It was odd that we're filming smoking at a cigar shop, and he calls me and he meets me there. I also dream of having the most beautiful woman, you know, and God having me blessed with a beautiful, strong woman that's at any level, at a highest level, and I would try to keep up with that level, and that's what God blessed me with.
That's what me and Mark first said to us. I said, man, that's a strong woman, bro. He met his match.
And I'm blessed. So with that, I used to dream. I used to lay at nights and say, I'm going to get me a documentary.
And you got it.
Yeah, that's back to the question about Jennifer Ducker. I'm a visionist, and anything I want, you send me in that room and I'm going to come out with it. That's who I am, you know?
Going back to the documentary, where is it going to, do you have any word yet, like where it's going to be played? Is it a docu-series, or is it just one big picture? Is it one big picture, or will it be series?
Well,
where will it be shown?
Right now it's up in the air because it's so strong. It has a lot of strain behind it.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Al Roker, it's called After Orange. Al Roker took a liking to it. Sometimes Anna and I will be filming and Al Roker saying, what are they doing today? You know?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And I'm telling people this story that Al Roker's involved, and people that know me, and you know, they're hearing the story and everybody's still skeptic, like, Jeff, Al Roker, come on, man.
Exactly, yeah.
But go ahead and go to After Orange, you see Al Roker giving it his blessings, right?
Yes.
So we've been blessed with a lot of great things, and I believe it's going to be a 90-minute film. It has opportunity to grow to a series, docu-series, but right now,
I hope so. I really hope it's in series, because you deserve a season 2 or season 3.
Yeah, it's a documentary telling my story of getting out of college, right?
Yeah.
And prison, and establishing myself and starting with my assets. The assets that I got in hand are, in back of my mind, it's really a nothing. You get out to nothing because you're gone so long and you don't know what you have. So you got to find a way to link yourself to all the right people. You know, don't worry about who they are and what they've done in the past.
Exactly.
Like, care about being there to show them that you're a good person, right? So that's what it's about.
Was it hard? Was it hard to come out and have the freedom that you did? Because what other places did you go and film? You didn't just film in New Mexico. I believe you went to Las Vegas, California.
Yeah, so sometimes you find yourself in a position of you can't be intimidated by who you're sitting with. I sit at tables with billionaires, with millionaires, and they look at me the same. They don't care about my past because I'm not there to tell. I don't sit at a table to tell people about my past unless it's necessary, right?
Yes.
So I'm there to do business or just carry myself like a normal person.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I've been blessed in many ways.
Was it emotional for you? This is like personal, like I never asked you, but was it emotional to go to be able to travel? Like there was times you probably thought you would never be able to do it, to go travel and see your family in other places and go to California on the beach, or just going down Hollywood and just seeing all this world that you could only imagine at one point in your life. Was it emotional for you? Did you ever just sit there and just like, I'm thankful, I'm so blessed?
Well, one, the question of how it feels to be able to go different places on vacations is I was oppressed for so many years that I don't get the good feelings, you know. Maybe it's because I still have my guard up.
Yeah.
I have to keep my guard up. I have to not let my guard down and just be free and run around. And so I do everything. I have to contemplate where I'm headed, what's ahead of me. So I don't really get to enjoy a lot of stuff in that magnitude to feel good about it. I just accept that it feels good at the time, so good. But I've never let my guard down to feel like anything. You know, I'm a humble man.
Yeah.
So I think maybe prison oppressed me, and maybe God will let me let it free one day so I can feel the feeling of true happiness.
Yes.
But for now, I'm glad with just working right and building and enjoying life the way God blesses me with it.
And these moves that you were doing when you were out there, it was also being documented. You had the film crew. Like, you were rolling out there with the Godfather of Chicano rap. You were with Frost, and you and Frost are tight. You were in California hanging out with him and his people.
Rick Ross, and with Rick Ross.
With Rick Ross, the real Freeway Ricky.
Yeah, the biggest.
And then you did the other Jeffery Padilla out here.
Yeah, been blessed in so many ways. It's just, you put your mind to something and you chase it and doors open, you know. So Kid Frost is my mentor. Well, not mentor. Kid Frost is somebody who I call. We lean on each other.
An advisor.
Yeah.
Because he's hip to the game. He's been there. He knows it.
Kid Frost calls me. He'll go close a big deal, and I'm probably one of the first guys he calls to this day. Jeff, guess what I just pulled off? This guy's was there when Eazy-E and when Chicano rappers weren't even accepted.
No.
You know?
Yeah, he made it possible.
Yeah.
We can say whatever we want, man. He made it possible. Mellow Mayonnaise made it possible. Lighter Shade of Brown made it possible. Proper Dose made it possible for all of us to even exist in this world.
Oh, yeah. Kid Frost.
In this music genre.
Yeah, in 20, 30 years when Kid Frost is... if something ever happens to Kid Frost, I'm telling you, the world will shut down. From here to Japan. You know,
he's huge, yeah.
So what happens is there's a generation gap and people don't know their story. But everybody will always know who Kid Frost is.
Absolutely.
His music will always live on. He's just like you.
I'm telling you, bro, when I first heard La Raza and it was on the radio, I couldn't believe the stuff I was hearing.
Yeah,
I said, this dude is talking just like us. And it's on the radio?
Yeah, it's a different era. And he's about right now just getting his movie together, and music only can tell your story one way, but when you're into, people want to know your story just like yours.
Yeah.
Unique people, or people want to know your stories, right?
Yeah, they do. And you know, and I don't really open up to a lot of people, man, just my close people. Like, I might be going through stuff, and you know, and you'd be like, you're going through it, right? And I'm like, yeah. And then you're like, you give me my space. And I know sometimes that you might be having a hard day or something, and I'm like, man, I love you, bro. Keep your head up. Call me if you need me. You know, stay strong.
Yep, that's what it is we all have to just stay focused, because life throws at you different things in your life, and you got to figure out a way to just stay in your keep it cool, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Going back to your jefito, like I said, we all love him. Like, he's like the sweetest dude ever, man, the sweetest man. We've, since I think 2010, when we started doing our videos, he would always show up just to be there for support. And I'm like, man, this man, he's so kind. What, is he just watching over me? And he was watching over me, because he was like one of those people that he's like an angel on your shoulder. And I was like, well, get in the video. Come in the video with me. No, I don't want to. Come in the video. And it was like, well, everybody kept seeing him in videos. Well, that's Mr. Padilla. How do you know Mr. Padilla? I said, he's been somebody that when you weren't there, he was my connection to you. Like, I felt like if he was there, you were there. And you do a lot for him, and you have your jefito and a lot of stuff. You made him a corrido, Dia de Jeffery Padilla, celebrating this man so much. What is it about your jefito that you treat him like a king? We all love him, but I can't imagine how much you love him, because you put that man high up there.
Yeah.
What he deserves.
Yeah, my dad, that's what I was telling Ana Maria last night, is that my dad deserves the greatest respect.
Absolutely.
A lot of people forget to give respect to our elders, or even as myself. Some people say, well, what's so important about Jeffery? We're all equal. Yeah, we're all equal, but we're all unique in our own ways,
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
So there's stuff that I went an extra mile to do so people could know who I am. I stopped my life in the 90s to visit people in the prisons.
Yeah.
I stopped my life to go meet people that I didn't even know. They'd be sitting on the other side of me thinking I'm there to get them. But they're like, well, what are you doing here? I said, I'm coming to show you that I'm a Padilla, and I'm here to show you respect. And I always took care of them.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
That's what we're here for, to take care of people. So that's what the 90s was about, and that's who I am today. So in putting my dad and documenting since I got out, my family might not understand right now, or maybe they're going to look back and say, Jeffery has dad on all these videos. Now we can look back and see my dad. It sucks that my brother Johnny Lee, the greatest man in the history of New Mexico, the biggest legend.
Yeah.
That's as far as I'll go with it. But everybody knows that I have a brother, Johnny Lee Padilla, who passed away in Mexico. And his stories will live on 200 years because of what he did for people, right?
Yeah.
And there's nothing documented about it, right?
Yes.
Because it was all on the low.
Exactly.
So I got my dad in the forefront so that my family can stare at him and be able to heal in another way, where you could smile as you're healing,
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's
that's what I'm up to with my with stuff.
Has he ever told you, like, mijo, why do you want me around so much? Or why do you want me to go with you to do this? Why do you always invite me here? Why do you want me to go to Gambino's video shoots? Why do you want me to go to a show? And every time he's in the videos, or he's there, it just makes me want to be better. And I'm always, like I said, make sure that man gets as much time on camera as you can. I want him smiling. I want him having a good time. And he just looks so vibrant. Like, he brings life to all of us around him.
Thank you, Juan. Yeah, well, thank you. He loves you, Juan. He loves your music. He always speaks good about you, and he loves people. My dad's he's a community man, a statesman, and his thing is to give people hope.
Yeah.
And I think it gives him hope. If he sees that you're putting energy on trying to keep the connection and invite him to a video shoot, that makes him feel, it shows gratitude to my father.
Absolutely.
He sits back and he says, what? I'm being invited to a video? So that's the message that I want to put out. Like, if you have somebody in your life, show them that you cherish them.
Exactly.
Don't just invite a person to your party to have a number there or more people. Show that person why they're at your party, or why they invited them.
Because you love them.
Yeah, and don't just invite a person because you want them there. Invite them to let them feel comfortable. Invite them and show them, put them in an area where they're comfortable.
Exactly.
Make sure, it's all about hosting. It's all about showing people who you are, giving them your heart,
and giving them respect
Yeah,
that they
that's a
that they
good thing.
deserve, man. Does he ever tell you that sometimes I just call him out of nowhere and we just be talking for 20, 30 minutes, just rambling on, bro, just talking and laughing. Nobody, that man is so intelligent, but he's funny. He'll have me cracking up. And I'm like, man, I'm so glad I called you, man. I feel better. And he's like, no, gracias, mijo. Thank you for calling me. He says, come see me. So it's a lot of people that don't understand it. If you haven't met Mr. Padilla and you ever get a chance to meet him, he will make your day better. Because I've called him. I don't know if he tells you, but we do. We talk or we text, and he is funny, man. He just makes me laugh. He gives me hope. He's awesome.
Yeah, well, maybe that's one of the guys on this podcast you're going to have to interview, right?
I'm going to bring him next.
Yeah, that's going to have to be
I'm going to bring him next.
And I'm glad you're doing this one. This podcast is important because, as you know, I run into politicians that they look to us, the community, and they wonder how the community feels about them. So there's people who love people.
Yes.
If they're serving the community and they're in the legislature, all this time that they're getting, they ain't getting nothing out of it mostly, right?
No.
Right?
No.
These people are established. A lot of them already have established businesses,
Yes.
so they have to figure out a way to, okay, now I'm running my life, and how do I help the community? So it'd be nice to get some community people to, some politicians. I know many that would love to sit with you, Juan, and let the community know what you're doing for the community and what they're doing for the community and bridge that gap, right?
And the important thing about this is I've been wanting to do this for a long time, And then this year I was like, no holds barred, man. I've been watching Tony A Vision on YouTube. He's a producer he was the first Mexican or Chicano to work with High C in the mid 80s to late 80s, early 90s, and he worked with Quick. He was with NWA and High C. He was a producer and he did all these things. Now he brought this podcast, this show where he's interviewing people, and I was so intrigued by his show because I watch his things all the time. I said, that motivated me. I said, we need to do this now, man. No more hesitating, no more nothing. And so the first guy you could ask her. I said, the first guy I'm gonna interview is my bro. Then I gotta get Mr. Padilla. And then this is our thing, this isn't just me doing this. When I do something, it's a reflection of you, it's a reflection of me. And we're gonna try to do everything and conduct it with respect and as something positive, not something like, well, oh man, we think we're the shit, or we're look at what they're doing now. What do they think? No, man, this isn't about us. We're not making no money from this. We just want to give people an extra light to get to know other people. Maybe there's a young and up and coming artist, you'd be like, you should talk to this dude. Expose them to other people, man. Why not? Why not help each other? If this is another way to help each other, why not do it?
Yeah, I'm glad that you're doing this, and that I'm good. Internet is good right now, and it's good to reach as many people as you can to get the message out there and let them know that New Mexico is strong, and we are making an impact.
Absolutely.
And we do stand together when it really comes down to it. Of course, you have all these rappers, you have all these people that stare at you, and they're wondering, how do I do it just like him? I'm going to do my own thing, and that's good. But this is going to be a place where people can all come and express their feelings or what they're going through or what they got, their visions as well. So you're doing a good thing, Juan. And
thank you.
We got the whole city that already, when we ask, the city stands together. When it
That's
mattered.
a beautiful thing.
Oh yeah.
When we come together, it's beautiful, man.
Yeah, when they have a big lowrider car show. There's all these different car clubs and they all stare at each other from afar, but at the same time they have a similar heartbeat, right?
Exactly.
So when Johnny passed, we brought the whole city together. We shut it down. It shut down on that day, All you could see was the tumbleweeds rolling across the street because it was sad. It was a sad day, right?
Very sad.
But at the same time, you have anybody who's a somebody owning their own businesses, change their lives or whatever they're going through, the struggle, they were there. They stopped to feel the pain, our pain, because we have been put in a position by showing people love, that people were there to show us so we could all heal together.
I've seen a lot of brothers there that I hadn't seen in a long time.
Yeah, it's New Mexico's. It's unique, bro. We all stand together.
I think if we do more of that, and not just like everybody says now, we need to give people their flowers now, and not wait till something so awful that happens, man. If we could just show them how much we love them now, instead of just wait till somebody's gone. You know what I mean? Like, it's good to have all of us together, man. There's a lot of good people out here, and everybody has the same mentality. But if everybody just put their egos away, man, I think we could all work together and do something special. Like, enough talking about it, enough of the drama, the bullshit, this stuff. Like, I never brag about stuff like that. When I see something that we did, like when I post, I said, look, bro, we got this many streams for this year on Spotify. That's just on Spotify. That's not me for bragging, man. That's me just because I'm happy that we were able to accomplish that. I'm grateful for people that took the time to listen to our music.
Yeah, Juan, you set the bar high. There's a lot of legends just like you that are keeping their music going, and people are staring at them too. We're going to all keep coming together, Juan.
I can't wait till the documentary comes out, man. It's going to be so big for you. You're going to be all over the world, man. You're going to be on morning shows all across the world, bro. I can't wait, man.
Yeah, what they're comparing this documentary to, Juan, is they're comparing it to Breaking Bad because it's a real life Breaking Bad, right?
Well, it's your story, brother. and what other way to represent New Mexico with New Mexico's son, which is you.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, one of the things in the documentary of my past, as I told the story, is we're always in Elephant Butte, right?
Yes.
It was known as the place where if you had a boat or if you just wanted to jump in with your friend, you're going to go enjoy yourself. So in the 90s, it was 4th of July, it was my birthday, and I used to be wild. And
as we all were.
So this is just one thing you'll see in the documentary, one story, is we're lighting fireworks that already banned it in the whole state, and the cops show up. Everybody points at me because for some reason, maybe I was the elder, I don't know how it happened, but they arrest me, and I convinced them to unarrest me, right? And I did it in a way where it was like, probably won't never do it again like that, right?
Yeah.
But the other supervisor came and said, I don't know what you told him, but I've never seen anybody get unarrested. So that's some of the stuff that you'll see in the documentary. And so I thank God we're in the world stage right now. We got two different businesses in the world stage. One is the hemp industry.
Tell the people about your businesses for those who don't know.
Yeah, and, we have Nuevo Farms that's coming to a store near you. We have a website, nuevofarms.com. And
we'll put that in the links and stuff also.
Yep. Let me show you. You want to grab it, Juan? These are some of our, this is just a little bit of we have. Let me see the other one, Juan.
Let me get the other one.
Yeah. So don't get it twisted, don't worry. We have our COAs. This is just a little bit, and we're gonna have these in stores across, the nation for sure, on websites, and if people want some of our hemp, we got a few varieties that we grew.
That's amazing, because I remember you breaking ground talking about it, and then to see them like that is like,
Yep.
he made wine out of water.
Yeah. So we planted and we thank God that we harvested, right?
And
that's
it's
just
evolving.
like life.
Yeah.
That's just life. You plant and you harvest. So we're sitting on hundreds of pounds, and right now we're working on getting into stores, and it's a process, and it's not an easy fix. There isn't a gold rush like people think that it's going to all come together fast, but it's a process.
Takes time.
Oh yeah, because in reality, you have to figure out a way. It's just like opening up a t-shirt company.
And it's a chingo de competition in the hemp business, isn't there?
Oh yeah, it's like opening up a clothing line. You still got to figure out, just because you bought your clothes or you made your clothes and your brand there, you have to figure out how to brand it. You have to figure out, sorry dear. You have to figure out how to brand it. You have to figure out how to get it in stores. You have to figure out how to market it.
Exactly.
And you have to figure out how to distribute it, right?
You got to know the right people, because you're making hemp oil, right? And pomadas and all that, lotion, creams.
Yep, hemp. There's CBD is the newest thing that helps people that are sick. It helps the sick.
Absolutely, yeah.
As you know a young woman that people ain't even understanding what it helps. If you're having seizures, it helps.
I have, my friend Tisha Brick, she's from Torrance County, man. Her little boy, I won't say his name, but he's a great kid, man. And unable, he was having problems with seizures, and CBD oil was the only thing that helped him. Instead of drugging this little dude up with all kinds of pills and stuff like that, it was helping him, bro. The drops were helping him. And the school refused to do it themselves. You know, they told her she had to wait outside the property, and when he needed it, to go do it instead of them applying it. And it's such a beautiful thing to have this oil that just helped this little dude just feel normal and be around his classmates, his peers, to play, to go to school. And the little guy's been out of school for almost 2 years. I wish we could do something to at least medically train nurses in school, and for the school system to allow that to happen.
That's one of the
in trustworthy hands, of course.
Good thing that you brought that up, Juan, because in reality, if you interview their parents to tell that story so we could educate people, that's what this podcast is going to be good for. You know, again, we have another company that's going to be spreading the word, and CBD isn't a gimmick, it's a healer, and people know the word's out, and it's going in every store in the United States. They said by 2021 it'll be in every store, on every shelf.
Wow.
So right now, a lot of product lines like Avon and everybody, and they say that Starbucks going to throw in their hat, Coca-Cola, Johnson & Johnson.
That's huge.
Yeah, so it's time for people who can use their mind to create a product that's unique and get it in the stores alongside there, so that they could know that your brand's there as well, right?
Okay, so and local too, right? You want to stay local also, but also expand.
That's where it all starts, because once you get in your local stores, and then you could think about, once you're established in your own state, then you could worry about the rest, just like our music, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Just like our companies.
Yes.
Yeah.
And for those who really think that it's easy, this guy is not the easiest dude to please. I said him something that I think is great, and he's like, I don't like it, you can do better. I'm like, damn, I thought I went pretty damn hard on that. No, go back to the drawing board. So I'm like, say him another thing. No me gusta. Do it again. Like, let's do something. So I know how you set the bar high for what you expect out of our music, so I can only imagine the bar that you have set up for the business.
Yeah, Juan, thank you. So everything takes time, and I'm glad you mentioned that. To end with that, that's the best thing I have to say about it is the way to word it is, when I get something submitted in the music, I listen to what's going on in the rest of the world and the rest of the United States. In my ear, it has to be catchy. And if you didn't already have that talent, you know, there's a lot of artists out in the world that are behind in their times.
Yeah.
And we got to keep up with the rest of everybody else. And I know that you have brought stuff, and we submitted stuff, and we got stuff that's streaming right now in the light.
Yeah.
And everybody has the potential, you know. So I'm saying, let's not get caught up in the 1985 era of music, you know, oldies, when you maybe make an oldie here and there with the modern thing, but let's keep it modern. We're New Mexico, and we shine in our own way, and we're classy people, and let's keep on being classy.
And let's just show them that we got talent just like everyone else, right?
Yes, sir.
So this concludes the end of the first episode to GNM with brother Jeffery Padilla. All the links to all the businesses, our social medias, everything will be on there. In the future, we are looking for sponsors. So if anybody wants to be a part of it, shout out to dealers.com for hooking me up with this. And my partner looks fresh to death. And the last question I wanted to close out with, how do you want to be remembered, brother, when it's all said and done?
Juan, thank you, Juan. As you see, I have my business suit on, right?
Absolutely.
I have my boots on. I want to be known as a businessman. That's why I'm a businessman, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So in reality, how do you distinguish the difference between, are you a G or you a businessman? In reality, it's all about business, bro. We leave the bad stuff behind and focus. How am I going to hold on to my family, my girl, to believe in me if I'm living the life of being willing to set myself up for failure, right?
Exactly.
So I'm here to help people, show people, I lead by example, right?
Prosperous.
Yeah. So
a righteous
I have
man.
a lot of people staring at me, wondering and giving me hope. They ask me, hey, Jeff, how you doing this? How you doing that? And I'm still trying to figure it out, but I got focused, right? And I put a line, and I know what I'm not willing to cross. So if I think that I'm gonna have to go throw my life away, what I do is I don't get myself in that position, right? I focus on my family, I focus on business. So in reality, I'm a businessman. That's what I want to know, is where people don't even remember my past. You know, there's Paul the Apostle. Nobody even knows he was in prison, right?
No.
We have Jeffery Padilla. Nobody knows. Every door opens for my dad.
Yeah.
And we got the King gentleman that throws the fights. What's his name? Don King.
Don
the
King.
big hair.
Oh yeah.
So I'm a businessman. So let's let all that stuff in the past. Let's stay being who we are today, and let's stay working to move and make our state great. New Mexico
Absolutely.
is unique. We're about family, and we at the end of the day we all stick together. If everybody asks what's going on in the feds, I don't mean to mention it because I've never been there, but all the bros, they're held to a standard, and they always conform on being good men, righteous men, and standing strong for what you believe in.
Yes.
It's like that in prison, in the streets. But in reality, please, people, forget that I've been in prison, but I'm not going to forget. I'm not going to forget who I am. But I'm a businessman.
A businessman, you're a righteous man.
Yeah.
You're a spiritual man. You're a holy man.
Yeah.
You're a believer in the faith. And I think you're going to be remembered as a good man, bro. And somebody who was there for other people. And I've never seen you once be selfish. Not once be selfish, because sometimes you still surprise me with things, and I'm like, okay. But that's just who you are. You're a giver. You also give a lot. So
it comes from the pain, Juan. We all live with the pain inside of us that we let, just like another thing of leaving the past behind. We all live with a certain pain that comes, and in reality, I'll give the shirt off my back.
Absolutely, I know you would.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for. I'm a giving man.
I want to thank you, bro, for taking the time out to come today. And this is our first podcast, our first episode. This is Mr. Jeffery Padilla. I'm Juan Gambino. We're at Lesmens Studio. So make sure you come to Lesmens on Lomas and San Mateo. Okay, the link and the number will all be down there. Talk to Mr. Padilla. He's a great man, Mark Padilla. Thank you for making this possible.
Thank you, Don Lesmens. Thank you, New Mexico. And thank you,
love
Juan.
you.
We'll see you on the next podcast. Keep following us. Keep showing love. And we'll keep bringing you what you want. You tell Juan what you want, and he'll bring it to you. You tell him who you want to see.
Not just me. You tell my brother here who you want to see up here, and we'll make it happen one way or the other. We want to thank you, and God bless everybody. Peace.
Zia, baby.